Zack Snyder is a genius. He needs to make all the movies. Where is Zack? They need to remake The Godfather, but Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder's Godfather. That would be amazing.
It's that time again. Time for the all-new Culture Cast, which begins right now.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the all-new Culture Cast. I'm Nick, and with me tonight is the one, the only, the number one Zack Snyder fanboy of all time, Cousin Charles.
Cousin Charles!
Welcome back. I'm glad you're here.
Great to be back.
The internet is glad you're here, because tonight we're continuing our irregular feature, the Summer of Snyder, despite the fact that we're now well into September.
Time is relative.
Yeah. We're talking about his 2011 magnate opus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that deliberately wrong, in case you haters out there think. Sucker Punch, starring Emily Browning, who's like disappeared. You never hear anything about her anymore. Abby Cornish, Jenna Malone, and Vanessa Hudgens, of all people. Plus young Oscar Isaac, John Hamm, and semi-regular, I would say, Zack Snyder cohort, Carla Gugino. Did I say her name right?
I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, Gugino. Also, actually, Nick, here's one more female, Jamie Chung. Can't forget about Jamie Chung.
Oh, yes.
The role she left, that was so memorable.
Was she Road Rules or she was on a reality show, I know. Where she got her start.
I believe survey says it was The Real World, San Diego.
The Real World. Okay.
So they're good.
So
she's been in a couple of things. Good for her. Good for her.
The only other thing that I know her from immediately off the top of my head is the probably completely forgotten but very fun movie, 2012's Premium Rush.
Is that the bike movie?
Yes. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a bike messenger who's going up against corrupt cop. I believe he's a corrupt cop. Sure he is. Michael Shannon.
There we go. But yeah, Sucker Punch is technically Zack's fourth feature film in his filmography, because his third live action one. Because technically his third film was the Owl movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, because he's trying. It's like he was dipping his toes what was popular. I think right around that time in the early 2010s, I think Robert Zemeckis was doing the whole like motion capture, try to make movies for anime movies for adults. A noble gesture, don't get me wrong, but just maybe not with owls or dead-eyed kids. The technology wasn't there yet.
And I was reading about this, like Sucker Punch financed or not financed, I guess financed, but definitely released by Warner Brothers, off of the back of Watchmen, that Warner Brothers was really happy with. And I think how well did Watchmen do financially? It didn't do great at the box office. Why do they keep giving Zack Snyder work? I guess this was the era of mediocrity is rewarded, because there were like other directors, I think like David Ayer and other ones who just people kept giving them money to make movies, and you're like, why? But anyway, but I guess
in Hollywood you just fail upward. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But yeah, in Hollywood you fail upward.
Yeah. But yeah, prior to this he did 300, which was very successful. 456 million off a $65 million budget. Not a great movie, but wildly visual eye candy. And then prior to that, he did Dawn of the Dead, which I would argue is probably Snyder's best movie. Probably because it had a screenplay by none other James Gunn, and
It's all connected.
yeah, and yeah. Then this is I don't know if this is a turning point in Zack Snyder's filmography with Sucker Punch, but man, it's something. It's definitely something.
It so if earlier in this semi-annual series, we had discussed the original cuts. We're not doing the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon. We
No.
but we won't but we did watch the duology of the Rebel Moon movies, and that is again Zack Snyder's a Zack Snyder original OG. There's not based on anything, not based on a comic book.
Yes.
This is all coming out of Zack's head. Um, Sucker Punch is the antithesis of it because for the most part, Zack knows that the perfect structure for his style of movie he wants to make is very loose framework to put a bunch of over the top stylistic action sequences. Because that's what this is. Because
Yes.
there is no reason whatsoever why our heroines go through these fantasy worlds except for just cuz.
Well, they do explain it. And I don't remember who exactly says it, whether it's the what's her name, Carla Gur uh
Let's call her Carla.
Dr. Gorsky. I don't, whether it's her or someone else, where they say like people in the mental institutions to get through this, they can delve into a fantasy world in order to help with what's going on. But what's
Mhm.
really wild is not only do they delve into does a baby doll delve into a fantasy world, but she delves into a fantasy in the fantasy.
Yes. Yes. So it is. That's kind of the main hook for the movie, and I think this is where maybe a lot of people got, I think, lost back in like 2011 because it is. So the real world, she's in a horrible, decrepit. She's an Arkham asylum, more or less.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
we're we're because I think this movie takes place in like the 50s, maybe,
it's
sort of.
kind of
It's
ambiguous. It's
vague.
like it could be anywhere from like 1950 to like 1979. You know what I mean?
Were mental institutions this like dilapidated back then,
Sure. In movies,
or
yes.
is this just, yeah? Is this just a movie thing?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't know if this is going to be a quick aside, but yeah, I think this is the only time I've ever seen a mental institution that was portrayed as like a nice hospital that was like clean and like meant to like comfort the patients was like in the new Batman show that they put out because they have Arkham in there. Arkham just actually looks like a hospital, like an actual mental
Oh
hospital
yes,
where it's
Nick
well lit
Crusader.
and clean. Yeah, well lit and clean. It's not like a gothic prison. It's like, oh, it's just weird to see Arkham like this. But yeah, every time you have a mental hospital in movies, it's got to look like this weird, decrepit jail that's about to fall in on itself. So yeah, it's bad.
Um, yeah.
Lead-based paint, it's not good.
So what were we talking about? Sucker Punch. Yes, I'm sorry, I lost my train of
Yeah,
thought. So let's like this movie is I've never seen it up until just recently, and I've heard nothing but like bad things. But when watching it, it's not good, but it definitely keeps your attention throughout.
would and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, because I was expecting this to be an absolute just shit show from start to finish. And when the characters speak, it's not great. Like Zack Snyder should never be allowed to write dialogue. His best filmmaking is when there is no dialogue whatsoever. He's very good at. It's not necessarily groundbreaking or anything like that, but you know what? He can tell a story visually. Like, because I guess this could be one of the parts of this review. Like many Zack Snyder projects, there are two versions of this movie. I happen to watch the original release, and Nick, you happen to watch the extended cut.
Yes, and I thought we had mentioned this previously that there was an extended cut on this, but what's great is I got my version from the library, and they had both versions. So I'm like, which one do I go with? I'll just go with the extended cut because the extended cut was only like maybe 15 minutes longer, bringing the movie up to about still standard movie length, like I don't know, like an hour and 10 minutes or 2 hours and 10 minutes maybe.
Mhm.
I don't recall. Let me see if I could find that here really quickly. Adds 18 minutes to the film, so which was basically but so and the movie was 109 minutes.
Mhm.
So okay, a little over 2 hours. Okay, that's doable. Not like his freaking Rebel Moon cuts, whatever.
Or Justice League that adds an extra 2 hours on top of a 2.5 hour movie.
That's a whole nother thing.
Can of worms.
What's fascinating about this is, I guess I was reading that there is a actual director's cut of this movie. That the extended cut is not his desired version of the film.
Jesus Christ! Of course there is.
Hang on here. I'm sorry. My phone is like blowing up on me. Oh.
You gotta turn off those notifications from Grindr.
Well, okay. My in-laws are sending me pictures of all the fish they've been catching today.
Good for them.
So yeah, there's an actual longer version out there that has yet to be released that Snyder wants to release. But anyway, so we were talking about this. Or you. Oh my God! Stop! I am freaking muting this. I'll put the buzz on just in case. Okay. I'm going to write that I have a buzz on, otherwise I'll forget to take it off.
Oh, that buzz on. That's the secret word of the day.
Anyway, Zack Snyder, Sucker Punch. You started watching this movie last night, I'm assuming, and about 8:30, I'm sitting down, doing something that I had to take care of, and I get a phone call from you. I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? And Kiwi was nearby, and she's like, oh no, did someone die? And because it was very unexpected you to be calling me at like that time of night. So I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I pick it up, and you're like, Nick, I spent money, and I bought the wrong version of Sucker Punch. And you're like freaking out over this. And I'm like, it's okay.
To be fair, it was I will say this: it was meant to be a faux fake out. I was more just flabbergasted that he's been doing this scam since 2011. You didn't like the original version.
No. He's been doing this since 2009 because Watchmen came out in 2009, and there's 3 cuts of Watchmen that are out there. There's the theatrical cut. Actually, I'm going to pull this up right now because this is utterly fascinating. Where are you, Watchmen? Where are you?
I forget how big the rock is that I live under sometimes.
So there is a 162-minute theatrical cut.
Yeah.
There is of Watchmen. There is a 186-minute director's cut of the film.
Okay.
And then there's a 215-minute ultimate cut.
Holy shit.
Now, the ultimate cut not only has all the director's cut stuff in it, but also includes the Tales of the Black Friar that was edited in with the movie, which, if you recall from the Watchmen graphic novel, if you'd ever read that, like about midway through, there's this like weird storytelling device where there's a comic book within the world of Watchmen that is you can read along with the Watchmen story. That's like on the pages you have like the main story, and the bottom of the page is like a 3 panel of that. It's a pirate comic that some kid is reading at the that's included in the Ultimate Cut. So he has 3 versions of Watchmen that are out there.
See, okay, because I do own Watchmen because I did buy it when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
I have not read it in like a long time, but it is sitting on my bookshelf. So I know that was a part of it. I didn't realize there was actually a filmed version that included that.
Originally, I think that film version of that was meant to be just, hey, let's film it because we can. I think it was animated, and it was supposed to be like a separate like its own thing. Like Zack Snyder made it, but was never meant to go into the movie.
Okay.
And then they decided, well, let's add it in, like you're actually watching the comic on screen. Like, so they yeah.
See, I don't know if that makes you respect the man or like a little bit more. And part of me is like, okay, that's pretty neat. But another part of me, I've seen too many Zack Snyder cuts where I'm just like, it's the same movie, and they add more of the worst part. Zack Snyder having people talk in a room. That is not the man's strong suit. The man's strong suit is action sequences, and when there's like 4 main big bombastic action sequences that you described as like a video game.
Yes.
And I think they are probably the best part. This is what Martin Scorsese would call cinema, because they were absolutely fantastic. And I think during the middle of the second one, where they're in World War I fighting the or the zombie Germans, because again, they mentioned the Kaisers, so they ain't Nazis yet.
I think it was World War I. You said, right?
Yeah, World War I, German zombies. I was like, I think I texted you. I think I unironically liked this movie because I was like, you know what? Because it is the perfect Zack Snyder structure. It's just I've got these ideas for action sequences. I can't come up with a really strong narrative of how to incorporate a sequence that has German zombies, a dragon, giant feudal Japan samurais with machine guns, by the way, and then a futuristic train heist. I can't think of a way to incorporate all those. I'm sure some other writer would be like, you enter the simulation, a la the Matrix or something like that. But he's like, he just went for a very bare minimum, like this is all in her head while she's doing these dances, which always start with this like weird little, little shimmy. It's always the little shimmy. Which I get, which part of me both is frustrated by, but appreciates that it's like that we don't see the dance, because I'm like, I don't know what because they describe like, I think the character of Sweet Pea says all she's doing is just moaning and gyrating. So I'm like, okay, so it's like supposed to be like really like triple X rated stuff. Because I read, I skimmed the Wikipedia page. I think at one point he did want this to be R-rated, and then it got dialed back to like PG-13. And I could kind of see the areas where he probably put in the PG-13 stuff. Like, okay, the zombies don't bleed blood. They're going to be sexy, but not too sexy. We're not going to. Nobody's going topless in this thing. You know what I mean?
The extended version was R-rated though.
Okay. So. Okay, that was good.
There wasn't any nudity or anything like that from what I remember, but there was a little bit more violent. But maybe I'm just too desensitized, but I don't remember it being anything egregious. But
okay, yeah, because this movie is, I mean, I don't want to say. I mean, it's kind of a dark story because it. I mean, I'll give credit to the first 10 minutes that I saw because it was very much the first 5 minutes sets up why baby doll is in the insane asylum where like you got the drunk stepfather who the mother died and he's cut out of the will again. Everything's in slow motion. This is
Mm-hmm.
again Zack Snyder abusing the slow motion button for everything in this sequence. And then I think literally the next 5 minutes in the asylum explain pretty much why it is we're going to be why theatrical dancing is going to be involved and why characters are going to be imagining fantasy worlds. It's like this is how they she encouraged them to escape into fantasy to help process their traumas and stuff. It is again, it's weird that it goes from like we pretty much for majority of the movie we leave the asylum and we're in the second layer of this weird asylum slash brothel, uh, which you almost kind of have to like. I don't know if you did this at all. I had to kind of do not mental gymnastics, but I had to remind myself that the girls are mental patients. Oscar Isaac and his mobster goons are actually the orderlies, and you have to try to think like what they're actually doing in the real world.
Yes.
Okay.
I had questions about that. Because okay, quick rundown of the movie. You kind of started. Let me just quickly finish. So baby doll, she's in the asylum. She goes to this fantasy world and lives out the next couple days because they're going to give her a lobotomy because the stepfather wants the money, and that's his. And he put her in the asylum because she accidentally killed her sister when trying to defend herself from the stepfather.
Yes.
Which is weird that can happen. There seems like there's a couple of legal steps that are missing, but whatever. We'll kind of have to go with it. Because what's crazy is it seems like she went from like shooting the sister, throwing her in the car, going straight to the asylum. No due process or anything. But
no.
Anyway, and then the rest of the movie is her trying to make an escape from the asylum through the fantasy of her being in this brothel. And then every time they need something to get their escape, it goes into another fantasy of an action sequence of them getting said item. It's like a fetch quest.
Yes.
My question is, because in spoilers, by the way, for this, I don't know, 13-year-old movie, in the brothel version of it, Oscar Isaac kills two of the patients, like shoots them, or two of the dancers. So did those two die in the real world? Because I don't remember if we ever see them.
Presumably,
three of them die.
Yes, 3 of them die.
Because one's killed by the cook.
Yes.
And then 2 are killed by Oscar Isaac.
Yes, I am going to say that yes, that he did kill them. He seems to be like the head orderly. He's not in charge of the asylum, but he's like the boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's in charge of the other orderlies and stuff like that. So, when the doctors aren't around, he's like, again, doing weird sex pest stuff. So I'm going to say that yes, he did kill those two. Although it is weird that the head doctor, I guess nobody mentions that. Hey, 3 of our patients have died.
Yes,
I assume they just disappeared. It's very I guess they could say, oh, they tried to escape, which is it's weird that a mental hospital has armed guards.
What's weird is like at the end of the movie when Gogorsky is talking to John Hamm, and she's saying like, oh, here's what happened. They stabbed an orderly, started a fire, helped another girl, like all the stuff that happened in the fantasy, showing that oh, that stuff happened in the real world, but differently in her mind that we were experiencing. But she doesn't mention that at least 3 people died
or gone missing.
Yeah. Would you think that would have been brought up as well? So
Yeah, the other part of it is like Gorski acts like, yeah, she just couldn't be helped. We had to give her the lobotomy, but then she's like, I wish I had more time to work on her. But then John Hamm's character brings up like, well, you signed for this lobotomy, and she's like, what? Like, I guess who did she think signed off on giving this girl a lobotomy?
that's
If
a
she's the
wonderful
head
question.
psychiatrist.
Like, I don't know if they again, that's another question, because like in the extended cut, and I don't know if this was in the actual, because I didn't see the normal cut, but like the fact that she signed off on the lobotomy was mentioned twice by John Hamm. It wasn't until the second time when she's like, "What? I signed off on it?" Now I could have just misheard it, but regardless, yeah, like who gave the order to do that?
Yeah, who did she think ordered the lobotomy? Like, I guess it's kind of one of those things. Like, it would make sense if this was like, if it was just like because of the, again, her starting the fire, stabbing an orderly. That's like, okay, we got it. She's clearly too dangerous, and so that would make sense. But she acted like, again, her boss or somebody else signed off on it, and she knew that it was happening. Like, I'm not telling Zach how to write his movies. Again, these are his daydreams, wet dreams, whatever you want to call them. When he came up with the story, but it's like you would think that you would have Gorski rushing into the operating theater, and you can still have her arriving too late, but finding out what they did and then being all confused, like, what did you do to this girl? What? It's like, you signed for it, but here she walks in completely calm, like as if it's another Tuesday. Like, dang, another one.
I'm going to go and make an assumption. I could be wrong, but maybe when she went into the asylum, it was already decided she's going to get a lobotomy. So maybe the doctor already thought like, well, she came in here with those orders, and we're just holding her until the lobotomist can come in and do the thing. Maybe she was told that. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, now we as the audience are having to fill in gaps in the movie, and not in like a fun way of like, again, trying to like decipher the fantasy and how it correlates to the reality. Like, in more like, how does this make sense?
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good thing that we're doing this, but that's the only way I could think. But again, that should have been established. Like, oh yeah, she came in here and with orders that was already going to get done, and then John Hamm like, but no, you signed for it. She didn't get this decision until she got here. Like, what?
Yeah. It is interesting. I will say that's probably the not the most interesting. There's a lot of things to look into this movie that we can break down. But it is interesting that they build up, John Hamm as like this. You think he's like a shady lobotomist? He's like, no, just seems like a pretty normal doctor. Like, he's just doing his job.
Doing his job, and he even says, "I don't like this procedure. I'm rethinking this."
Yeah. Granted, he probably could have done that before he put the ice pick into her brain, but hey, at least he thought about it.
Hey, he got his check. He's came there to be there.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't have thought twice about it until like he's like, Jesus, did you see how she looked at me?
Yeah.
It creeped the frick out of him.
And
even in the fantasy sequence, John Hamm is being like very sensual, and she's like, I don't want your body. That's not what I'm here for. I want an emotional connection.
Okay,
and like she falls for it. Not falls for it. She's like, yeah, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do this.
Okay, so that part is not in the standard cut.
Oh, okay, so where does it go? What happens right before the lobotomist?
She's in the courtyard, she realizes that, oh, this is Sweet Pea's story. I have to sacrifice myself so that way she can escape. She kicks the one of the mob goons in the nuts, and then gets like sucker punched in the face.
Oh, interesting. So
And then it cuts to the hammer going into her brain.
interesting, because after that it cuts to, in the extended cut, she's in a luxury suite where she's laying in a bed, and John Hamm is just kind of sitting there in a chair, and he's going on how he, like, him taking someone, like, he's like, that's gross, it's not what he wants it to be something that's emotional and having like a connection, and he's trying to like romance her essentially.
Yeah.
Not in a creepy way. And she is like, she's into it. George is into it. And they're about to kiss and presumably have sex, and that's meant when it cuts back to him, clunk, because they're like literally face to face the way they are in the lobotomy thing. So it's a hard cut from that.
Yeah. Okay. So my version did not include the John Hamm seduction. John Hamm's. Sorry,
He was
John Hamm.
hamming it up.
Hey,
I got him. But
I get sick of that director's note.
yeah. But in the fantasy sequence, did Oscar Isaac actually die? Because like she stabs him, but I don't recall if he dies or not. Because I know
he did.
George is alive, but
Yeah, I was gonna say no, he didn't die. He survives because again when we get to the asylum, back to the asylum, before he does it's all Harvey Weinstein on her. You can see on his shoulder he's got like a bleeding bandage. So presumably, again, this is where you have to like do not mental gymnastics, but you have to like deconstruct the scenes, sort of like, okay, the girls are about to put on their big show, aka their escape. And I guess you could quarter that. You have to imagine that's Oscar Isaac's, busting in there, realizing that they're trying to escape. And he's gone mad with he's losing his mind.
Sir, you've gone mad with power. Yeah, have you ever gone mad without power? It's awful. No one ever listens to you.
Yeah. No, he was stabbed in reality. Like everything that happened.
I know. Let me stop you there for a second. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I get he was stabbed in reality, but I didn't know if in the fantasy sequence he was meant to die in the fantasy, but then in reality he was still alive. And the reason I'm asking that is to go back to, did the other girls die or in the real world, or was it just in the fantasy?
See, I took it as just like one of those things and where you just like you get injured and you just like you take a little nap and you wake up a little while later. So I'm taking it as just he just passed out and she used that opportunity to escape. I never took it as he died.
Okay.
Because it was
I'm just asking questions.
Just asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everything I think that happened in the brothel level of the fantasy is, I think, more or less had to a 1-to-1 ratio of what was happening in real life.
Yeah.
Again, some of the sequences, like of course with the with Gorski being like this, like what's the term?
Madam
Madam of the house or something like that, obviously are inverted. She's just the lead psychiatrist. And some of the, like, again, I'm not sure what these circumstances were, like, where Oscar is like, it's the mayor that's coming, but it's like, we clearly see that the mayor or the person they have playing the mayor is just like another orderly who just happens to have that type of lighter. So I guess it's kind of like one of those like, okay, in that sequence, is he just, because he mentions, I think in the beginning during the 10 minutes that set up the entire story, he mentions that, yeah, sometimes me and the guys just like to watch them act out all this stuff.
Okay.
I think he says something like that. So I assume that's probably what happened. Um, I will say the funniest kind of like cutting back to reality is like during the last fantasy bit where like, so they're, the last fantasy sequence is a train heist. They got to steal this bomb, the knife, or something like that. Like, okay, something like that.
Just like Solo, a Star Wars story.
Exactly. Are you saying Solo ripped off this movie?
That's exactly what I was saying. Which is why Zack Snyder is perfectly justified for ripping off Star Wars into Rebel Moon.
I will say this, before tonight's episode, I thought about making a joke about Christopher Nolan ripping off Inception from this movie, but that movie came out a year before.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, that would have been funny if it was just reversed. Like Christopher Nolan stole the idea of dreams within dreams.
Thanks a lot, Chris Nolan. You're ruining everything.
Yeah. Although you could make the argument Zach's had this dream since he was, I think he said, in middle school.
Well, it never evolved since middle school, and I want to talk about that eventually. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say the smash cut where it's like, okay, we have like 5 minutes into they're breaking this train, they're shooting all these robots, blah 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 blah, and then like we have one quick like cutaway to reality. And it's like the one girl. It's been like 5 minutes of this, and then it's like cutaway to the one girl trying to sneak the knife off the guy's belt. I'm like, you're in a kitchen. Are you telling me that's the only knife in this entire kitchen, and you have to sneak it off this like this normal United States of American citizen, this this quite large like Quasimodo looking motherfucker.
Their plan involves, we need, for one, where did she come up with this plan in the real world? I know she had a fantasy where she was
Scott Glenn is telling her.
Yeah, walks into this temple, which she subsequently destroys by fighting these other guys. To like, okay, you need a lighter, you need a map, you need a knife, and you need, I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter really.
It was map, lighter, key, and knife, and then a secret fifth thing that only you can discover. You were the secret ingredient all along.
The secret ingredient was love. It's the friends you made along the way.
Well, like, not really. Most of them died.
Right. Fail. Like, what was the actual plan to escape with all of this? Like, once they had the key, couldn't they just get the fuck out of there?
The plan was, yes, they were, and that's what the key, because the key was a master key. The plan was, because the asylum's like a maze, was to cause a fire, to distract the orderlies. They used the map to find the quickest route out of that place. And then the knife is like, if anybody gets in their way, just to stab them.
Okay.
Although I didn't catch that the one girl had taken the knife out of Rocket. The Jenna Malone character who I didn't realize, because I was like, she's like, when Oscar Isaac getting all creepy and get up in her face, and then she like reaches under the desk and there's the knife. I'm like, where did she get that? But I guess I asked Megan, and she had pointed out that there's like the one girl had like blood drops next to her, so she was like hiding it somehow.
Somehow Palpatine's returned.
Surprisingly, when the movie has to talk, it's mid at best and cringe at worst. It's still a lot better than Rise of Skywalker. It's still got a very, there's a very basic goal. You got 5 days or you're going to be lobotomized to get the fuck out of here. Like a video game. You got 5 days. Gather supplies, get the fuck out. It's very simple and straightforward. I appreciate that fact.
This movie reminded me heavily of. Obviously, I joked when I was texting you about how this was this is my favorite video game, but this movie reminded me of, in some ways, I played this a lot during college, so I don't know if this was before your time when you were getting into video games or not. I'm not exactly sure, but do you recall the game Time Splitters and Time Splitters 2?
Yes, yes, I do. I thought you were going to say Pong for a second, but
Yes, Pong, exactly.
no, but yeah, I know. Yes, I'm aware. I think our neighbor Jack had the game Time Splitters. I think I played it at his house.
I own the game Time Splitters 2 for the GameCube. I played it quite a bit in college. I like the game, first person shooter. And if you may recall, each level was wildly different from the other one because the quote unquote story were that these evil aliens from the future were going back in time and trying to screw up human history with zombies. So you had to travel back to each level, and each level was a different time period and different locale to, like, basically shoot your way through to stop the aliens. And this movie reminded me of that, in so much that each fantasy sequence was a very different environment. Like, it wasn't like, oh, another World War One environment. It was like all very different from one another. 'Cause, like, one was they had to fight a dragon. The other one was the World War One. There was the train heist, and
The feudal Japan.
that was the first one, right?
That was the first one, yeah, where she it's just that's her soul. The other ones have the other girls in it.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the orcs. Oh, no, the orcs was the dragon.
Yeah, that's part of the dragon. Yeah, it's like you're like a medieval fantasy castle, and then they're like a B-52 bomber, and of course they've got like high-powered machine guns. In the World War One, the one girl is like in a mech, which I will say this: I almost wonder if at one point in the script the plan included having because they were all relative. I think they're supposed to be like 20 something or under. And I almost thought that the one idea that Zach may have had at one point was to have the one girl, Amber, be like a getaway driver. Like they were going to like steal a set of keys to a car. Because in every sequence she's in, she's always the pilot. I noticed that. And she piloted the mech, she piloted the B-52, she piloted the helicopter. So I was always wondering, like, I wonder if one version it was like every girl was going to play a role in the escape, and that was going to be like she was going to be at the getaway. But eventually something happened along the way. But I wouldn't be surprised if Zach, if he sees this episode, Mr. Snyder, if you see this, please respond to us.
Sure, he will be. Mr. Snyder, where you can email me. I never check it, but I will for you. You could tweet us on X, though I'm thinking about canceling that and going to Threads. We'll find out. But because X has just become such a cesspool, more so than it ever has been before. But
Wretched hive of scum and villainy.
What's interesting to me is we get to know the other girls through their fantasy brothels, in which they're all nice girls who got locked into this weird sex dungeon life that they want a way out. But in reality, they're all mental patients.
Yes.
And Sweet Pea got out, and she was going to go back home to her family. But she's a mental patient. Clearly, she was in there for a reason.
Yeah, maybe I missed it, or maybe I again when they were talking, I turned everything to Charlie Brown a little bit. But I was like, why were they her? Okay, because it's revealed that Sweet Pea and Rocket are sisters. So it's like, why were they in there? Like, what did they do to earn going into the asylum? Did we ever? Was there something I missed?
We don't know any of their backstories for the asylum. We just know that um, Sweet Pea and Rocket left home. Sweet Pea followed, and they thought, "Hey, here's a good place that we can go," and they joined the brothel.
Wait,
And
so Rocket's the older sister?
no, well, I think Rocket is the younger, but she was the one who had issues with their parents, and Sweet Pea followed her to protect her.
Okay, okay. Because I was gonna say like, I was like, I thought Sweet Pea was the older one because she seemed to be. I think she's the oldest out of all the actresses. Like if I looked them up age wise,
She could be.
which is weird because you would think. Again, I'm not telling Zach how to make his own movie. This is his weird action fantasy sex thing that he's got going on. Um, girls, you're all going to be in fishnets and tight cut brassieres for the entire film. But it's like you would think that if I was writing this movie, I would have had Baby Doll team up with like the youngest mental patient, kind of taking the role of the sister that had died. That way it's like, if I was writing the
Like
movie that way.
there's a theme and there's, you know, character growth and connections.
See, because I feel like all the action scenes were trying to tell something. Like I know this is gonna sound stupid, and maybe I'm giving Zack Snyder a little bit too much credit, but during the sequence with the dragon, I felt like that was Baby Doll confronting something, like you know, just like she had killed her baby sister, she has to kill the baby dragon and have to face that fury and that anger in the form of the mother dragon. Maybe I'm giving Zach too much credit, you know, but I thought there was something going on there. I don't know. My brain was making these connections. And I feel like, and I'm worried because that means I'm giving Zack Snyder credit as being a smart writer, which I don't think he is. He may be, for all I know. I will say this. The other thing I will say, and maybe at the extended cut they showed it, no Jesus imagery. Usually, he likes his Jesus imagery of people laid out on a cross, and I don't think that happened in this movie, as far as I can remember.
Not that I recall, anyway, from the extended cut.
Yeah,
But
Superman Jesus pose, Rorschach had a Jesus pose.
well, he does say Jesus. John Hamm does go Jesus.
Oh, there you go.
I kind of want to talk, since you're kind of going this way. I want to talk about one of Zack Snyder's goals. I was reading about this is
Okay.
like this movie. When I'm watching it, I'm saying like this movie was made for 13-year-old boys and like creepy dude bros who like want to say, oh, look at the girls in the hot costumes and they're firing guns and kicking butt. This movie's so awesome. This is like, and yeah, um, and that's fine if Snyder wanted to make a movie for that audience. That is perfectly okay. It might be, you could argue it's skeevy or whatever, but you know what? If that was his goal, that's what he wanted to do, fine. But then I read what Snyder's actual intentions were.
Okay.
And basically, he was saying that this movie was supposed to be satirizing what the creepy dude bros would want to see in a movie. That, oh, they're making fun of it because all they fight in the movie are these dude bros, and yeah, they're like, and then it's supposed to be a very feminist movie because they're taking back the power and this and that. And I'm trying to find the line here. Yeah, because like the imaginations is like the girls can do anything. Um, uh, let's see, hang out. Where did that go? Where I just found that. Shoot. Um, like here's one that I saw here, off topic, but it's like it's just to be a cool story, not just like a video game where you just lose and go nuts. That's exactly what it is. Um, oh, okay, here we go. Where the picture of women. Um, oh shoot, where did? Oh, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Snyder said, "I'm always shocked that it was so badly misunderstood. I always said that it was a commentary on sexism and geek culture. Someone would say, 'Why did you film the girls this way?' And I'd say, 'Well, you did.' Sucker Punch is a fuck you to a lot of people who will watch it."
It's good to have contempt for your audience.
No, no, like fuck you, Zack Snyder. It is not a you are not. It is not a commentary on sexism. It is not a commentary on geek culture. You're giving in to that culture by giving them exactly what they want. I know there's an attempt of like these are powerful women. They're not. This is all a fantasy. Three of them die. Um, One has to sacrifice herself, who's had like the shittiest week ever.
Yeah.
There's one that escapes, but like it seemed like she was the most put together person in that place to begin with.
Yeah.
Like this is it's sexualizing women. It's very exploitative, and again, that's fine if that's what his intentions were. If he's like, yeah, I just wanted to go crazy and just like make a movie for like a guy's guy movie for I don't know however you want to describe it. The guys and college kids sit there and 13-year-olds can sit there and be like, yeah, this movie's awesome. And there's nothing wrong with doing that.
No.
But like trying to say like, oh, it's a commentary on sexualization of women, and like, no, it's not. It is not. I don't know where you're coming out with this.
I will say, because I know that again, I'm reading on the Wikipedia. I remember hearing this before, where he's like, he described it as Alice in Wonderland with machine guns, which is perfectly fine. But there's like one sequence in the movie that kind of supports that line of thinking. I think it's like where right after Sweet Pea gets to the asylum, they break down why there's a stage and stuff like that, and then she has in my version there was like an edited cut of like her seeing the 4 items that she needs before she even meets Scott Glenn. And then there's like I think it flash forwards to like flash forwards to the lobotomy, but that's like revealed to be part of the stage performance where Sweet Pea's in the role of Baby Doll.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck is going on? I get the high school teenage girl thing, but then it ends with a fucking lobotomy? What is up with that? Like, that's the only time I can think of where the movie was pointing out how fucking bizarre this sequence of events that we're about to witness is. So, but yeah, it's kind of, but it's like, if it's an idea you've had for a while, but it's like, I don't see it, or I'm having a very, very hard time seeing it, because Zach clearly, I'll give Zack Snyder credit this, and I'm sure this is not all him. I'm sure there was a team of wonderful like designers, concept artists, a whole bunch of people who like took his like ramblings and made these like very detailed and very kind of like these fantasy settings are like, yeah, these are really cool settings. Again, if it was a video game, or just as a set piece for an action sequence, they're really fun to look at. They're engaging. And I know I've seen like I remember this was many years ago. There was like some sort of comic book convention at a hotel that I was at. And I remember seeing it was around this time. I remember seeing a girl dressed up as Baby Doll with in her schoolgirl with the sword. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like clearly there's an element that Zach wants celebrated, wants to see admired. Like those looks for the girls, they're good costume designs, and I can definitely see
Yeah.
people who do that cosplay doing that because it's like each one is well designed. I remember the look of them. I don't remember anything else about the characters, but I can remember at least one little costume piece about each
Right.
character, which says a lot about like how like just nothing. Again, as Tim Robbins would say, they were nothing people. You know, I didn't care when Vanessa Hudgens and Jamie Chung died.
Right.
I did not care whatsoever. I was like, oh, anyway.
And they died in such the most like Vanessa Hudgens died in the most cliched way. He's like, oh, we don't like tattletales or we don't like snitches.
Stitches. Well, also like for again in all the action sequences, Zack Snyder's been very like gratuitous, and here it's like you don't even see like the gunshot. It's like below camera. It's
Yeah,
just a
even in
flash.
the extended cut, you don't see it.
Yeah, it's like oh, I figured you'd be like her brains against the wall or something, or she'd fall in slow motion because again, Zach he loves that slow motion. My God, someone showed him that feature that a camera could do that. There's a camera that does that. He's like, I want that in all my movies.
You know what's fascinating is in the fantasy they're all supposed to go on and give a big performance, a big show that night, and he kills two of his dancers, one of which has already died previously. So now he's down three dancers in this movie.
Yes.
In this like that's not good show business right there. Wait till after the show.
Yeah. I also like that this is like supposed to be some weird like underground you know, where there's sex slaves in this brothel, and it's like it seems like a very class like the whole when it's set up, it's like this is a very classy setting, even though like just behind the velvet curtains and stuff like that, it's like the decrepit, decaying asylum.
Well,
But
I
like,
think I think the what do you call it, the in the fantasy sequence the stage did not look that nice.
yeah.
But can we let's talk quickly about oh my god, I can't think, Oscar Isaac for a second, who
Yeah,
is
young
great
Oscar
in
Isaacs.
this movie. Who's great in this movie. I love how it did in the regular cut. Was there at the towards when they were doing their first performance, was there a extended song and dance sequence with him and the doctor?
Not
Like
in the
love
film,
is
but it
my
was
drug.
not in the film, but it's in the credits.
Okay, that was actually in the movie in the extended version.
Okay, I was thinking like, yeah, because I'm like, this looks way too. Because I mean, it looks like a great big fucking musical number that
Yeah,
they edited down for like this weird like during the credit sequence. I'm like, okay.
I was wondering if they took it out because in uh in the when they got to the end credits and they said, oh, they're basically doing this again. That's interesting. They pulled a Ghostbusters 2016, which in that movie, have you seen Ghostbusters 2016?
No, I have a life,
Well, it's just because you hate women. But
probably.
in that movie, there's a sequence at the end where like all the army guys are trying to take on the bad guy, and in the theatrical version, the bad guy freezes them, and like they're all like stuck in like a frozen, not like actual freeze, but like just make them
In
like
position.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when the Ghostbusters come and be like, oh, okay, we gotta take care of this now. And then at the end of the movie, during the credits, there's what looks like a dance number that the villain made all the army guys do. And they made an extended version of that movie when it came to DVD. And that dance number was actually in the movie at that point, and it was so like Zack Snyder. I guess Paul Feig took that idea from Zack Snyder.
The Feig cut.
The Feig
Um,
cut.
Let me ask you. Okay, quick aside. Did it improve the movie at all?
No, I wasn't the biggest fan. I don't like forced.
You don't like
It was
women. Just say it.
yeah,
Just
no,
say
no,
it.
no. I actually don't mind that movie honestly, but you've seen The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, love The Mask.
Do you,
One of my favorite
do you
movies as a
remember?
kid.
Do you remember the Cuban Pete sequence?
Yeah, it was great.
That's what the Ghostbusters thing was. It was basically Cuban Pete, and maybe not to as comical extremes. It didn't add anything. I will say there are bits in the extended cut that do improve the film, but that was not one of them.
What? Maybe that should be the next angle for Zack Snyder go down. Zack Snyder does Ghostbusters.
Why not? Why not?
He's never done a
Got
straight comedy, so that would be interesting to see him do that. I mean,
yeah.
Batman v Superman's a fucking comedy because of how much it fucks up everything. Those characters, like, oh my god, that movie's a fucking nightmare. Um, but it's kind of hilarious. But it's hilarious at the same time because. But anyhow, I'm getting
You
off. We're
just
getting off.
don't understand the complexities of Zack Snyder's filmmaking.
I wish I could. I really, really do. I wish I could understand his movies.
Um, but
So yeah, so young Oscar
anyways,
Isaacs. Yeah,
oh
it's
yeah, young
like
Oscar Isaac. He's great in this. He's good at being the when he's the attendant, not the attendant, the orderly. He like just has like this creepy like, especially at the end when he tries to rape baby doll for some reason all of a sudden. Um, he he like has like creepy like I'm the creepy guy.
yeah,
And but like when he's like the brothel head, he's like the suave debonair like, but like don't fuck with him because he will screw you
yeah,
up.
yeah. They play him off as like again like a mafia boss or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
okay, it's like you almost wonder like would the movie have been better if it had gotten rid of the asylum preset and just kept the weird brothel stuff and then the fantasy action sequences. Because I mean, the movie really doesn't change a whole lot by putting it in the brothel. You know, everybody's still mainly because we don't see the contrast. Like we have that brief thing again,
Right.
Oscar Isaac being the creep as the orderly, but then again being the suave debonair owner of this club. But otherwise, everything pretty much matches up 1-to-1 with what reality is.
I would argue just get rid of the mental institution and just have it start with the brothel.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you were saying get rid of the brothel and keep the mental institution.
No,
Sorry.
that's what I was saying. Like, because I mean, a majority of the movies in the brothel fantasy level, it's
Yeah.
like, why do we need, like, why do we need to have the asylum angle on it? I mean, you literally could just do this. The movies works the same, except for like the John Hamm bit, but otherwise, it pretty much function. The two levels function the same. Because I mean, she sets a fire in the brothel level. She's setting a fire
Yeah.
in. So it just seems kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, you'd have to rework the ending a little bit, I guess, but yeah, I don't I agree with you. I agree with you. But yeah, like man, I love how when they gave her to wrap this up here. I love like when they gave her the lobotomy, there's like no visible scarring on her face. Like they were hiding her face after the lobotomy. You did not see it. Like they were deliberate with their camera angles. And then when you finally see it and she suddenly is able to smile, There's like no marks, nothing with a lobotomy. I was expecting like a giant scar or something shocking, but no, just her.
Yeah. Well, she's also still got the makeup on, so and at the end of the movie, Sweet Pea gets on a bus, and the bus driver's Scott Glenn, who's been like their again giving the mission
Fantasy
briefings.
mentor.
Yeah, the fantasy mentor, playing the well-beloved character of the wise man, giving like weird self-help platitudes every time. Like I don't know if they were meant to like it was meant to sound cool, but it just sounds like "Hang in there, baby." It's like you'll either stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Or like I remember work together as a team. It was just like very kind of like because I mean
Like,
Scott Glenn. I mean he's
flip through
a
like a
pretty good actor.
motivational calendar. Like, okay, what? March 25th. Stand for something or fall for anything. All right, we'll put that in the movie.
An apple a day will keep the doctor away. It
We have
just
nothing to fear but fear itself.
yeah, there you go. But he's the bus driver, and I guess some film nerd could probably go like, "Oh, the ending was another fantasy thing where she fantasized about Sweet Pea escaping."
It's just like Inception. You don't know if that top's gonna fall or not.
Well, the only difference is I don't give a shit.
Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. You said somehow how she had the makeup on. Maybe that's what it is. Like not Sweet Pea. What's her name?
Baby doll.
Baby doll is in her fantasy. Like that. Everyone was. The bad guy was arrested and presumably he's going to point the finger at the
Stepfather, yeah.
the stepfather. But she won essentially, and in her fantasy, she's still in that baby doll persona in the brothel, and I don't know.
Yeah. Or it could be that oh, he's going to go to jail, her stepfather's going to go to jail. I mean, if that's true, then this is a very, very dark movie ending.
I know it is. Like she won, but not really.
Yeah, or she won in her mind. So it's very. I appreciate. There's a part of me that really appreciates how like bleak this ending is. Even though the marketing, if you look at the poster for this movie, it's cute, anime girl with sword. It's like no, this is a tragedy of like this mental patient who's had again, as you said, the shittiest week of her life, and she ends up a fucking vegetable at the end. Like it's so fucking dark. It's not Alice in Wonderland with machine guns. This is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but somehow even sadder. You don't see it. You don't see Chief killing Jack Nicholson and then escaping. This is Jack Nicholson drooling on the pillow. So, yeah, it's I don't know. I would say, I mean, the best thing I could say is like I think we started this episode saying I think I am genuinely a fan of this movie. I think I actually like it. I like the action stuff. You have this idea for all these different like cool sci-fi fantasy action sequences, and then you get to something like Rebel Moon, and it's just like, okay, we're doing a straight science fantasy. What action scenes do you come up with? And they're just so boring and generic. It's like he's
where
yeah. Where did that Zach go? Like I could have tolerated Rebel Moon if every action sequence was fucking nuts and like unique and like memorable. Like here, they're just nothing, and not even good character design. Like again, I remember like the one girl had a piece of like knight armor and a hood. One girl had like the little hat. One was Vanessa Hudgens.
Blondie, who wasn't blonde.
Not blonde. Which I did look it up. This is a few years after High School Musical. So she's like, I'm breaking out into adult roles now. Look at me in lingerie. We're all in this together. But yeah. But yeah, like
I'm just picturing like the girls singing that in this movie when they're trying to. That's one of the fantasy sequences.
oh my God, Zac Efron.
Like they all look at Baby Doll and she's like, I just kind of low efforted this one.
Yeah. It's like drawn it's like in crayon. Like I'm not really thinking too hard on the details.
You know, that's clever. That would be a clever idea.
Yeah. The one thing I did want to bring up, I didn't know if you noticed this. So in the real world, or in the brothel level, which is equivalent to the real world, she has the plan is to get each of the 4 items is to have her do this incredible, sexy dance that men can't look away from, right? And while she's doing that dance, one of the other girls is stealing an item for their escape plan, right?
Yes.
Which you would think. So when she's in these fantasy sequences, that's where her mind's going to. She's imagining that her and her friends are basically superheroes in these crazy action sequences. And it leads to like, okay, we got to get the map, the key, the lighter, all these things. But it's always Baby Doll getting the stuff. It's never the girl who's assigned to get the item actually getting the item. Did that kind of bother you?
I did notice that. It was weird, but like, I don't care. I mean, it's her fantasy. Let her do it what she's doing.
I get that, but I guess if the whole point is like this is her, if the idea is that this is her like imagining how, because she's not seeing all this go down, so this is her incorporating what she thinks is going to happen. I just would have appreciated that being a part of it, because the only fantasy sequence where what happened in reality influenced the fantasy was the last. It was the knife one, yeah, because I think it's Rocket who does she deactivates the bomb, and in reality she's supposed to be grabbing the knife. And again, things will go according to plan. She gets, the bomb gets reactivated in the fantasy, and reality she gets stabbed by the cook, who they think is, again, like one of the robots thinks is down, but is actually still with it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I can think of where what happened in reality affected it. But that was my one little gripe with that.
You do raise a good point, and then I'm thinking back to the one where Jamie Chung had to steal the lighter, and she's like, I'm afraid I'm not going to do it. I'm afraid I'm not going to do it. It would make sense in the fantasy that she is the one who actually does it, because you don't see her actually get the lighter. It's just kind of like after the show's over, like, I got the lighter. Isn't it so great? Oh,
yeah, I think he's great. Like, off his breast pocket, like, where's my lighter?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when Oscar Isaac is like, yeah, I know something's up. I do like that he only figures that something's wrong is because on the little map, there just has to be a second pinhole from like somebody taking it up, putting it back down.
And he felt his printer was hot.
Oh, is that what he was doing?
Because he leaned on, because that was the printer. I guess they made a copy of the map, and he leaned on it, and it felt, I'm guessing it felt warm. And then he's like, then he was looking around the room, like, well, what could they have done? And that's when he noticed the map, and he saw that there were the 2 pinholes in there.
Yeah, I did think
that was a rookie that was a rookie mistake on Sweet Pea's part. Got put back in the same pinhole.
Which I've done that, and I always get mad when if I'm putting something back up. I'm like, I don't want to make a dozen pinholes in this thing. But yeah, I was like, okay, that is that if you got to get caught, that's probably a good way to do it. But still, it's like, dude, you couldn't just match up the fucking pinhole to the. But again, otherwise we wouldn't have a movie. Yeah.
God, you're such a nitpicker. God.
Well, at a certain point, that's all you gotta do, because again, the movie is. It does the one thing right that Rebel Moon didn't, in that it is entertaining, and I wanted to see how this is all going to wrap itself up. It doesn't wrap itself up great, or I would say not as dynamic as you could have made it, but I appreciate that it is such a dark ending for such a movie that's all about like crazy action and this and that, guns firing everywhere, explosions. It's like it's a super dark ending. Like she, in theory, wins, but again, as we kind of discussed, she doesn't know what actually happens to Sweet Pea. She's fantasizing
Yeah.
that you could make the argument she's fantasizing that Sweet Pea got to a bus and made it out of there. Or she could have been arrested or taken out by the cops. Who knows?
I guess you could say the ending of this movie is quite the sucker punch.
Boom! That's a tagline. We did it.
That's it. I'll be here all week. No, wait, no, that's it. I'm out. No more. I can't top that.
We're done.
Episode
got
just
it.
ends. Boom.
Cut to an ice pick lobotomy.
Clunk.
Yeah.
Maybe we're having lobotomies right now, and this podcast is our fantasy, which is really sad. I was hoping I would be more.
I'm gonna shimmy myself into an action sequence.
You better.
Yeah.
Because this is like our shared fantasy. Then man, we gotta. I thought we were more creative than this.
Oh man. Oh, I like wake up in my bed like, ugh.
Alrighty.
Or was it like a Newhart? Like I had a dream where I was running a hotel.
Yeah, that was Newhart. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
He's one of those actors that like every show is named after him, so I get confused which one is which.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bill Cosby. He has like all of his shows are named after his, and it just causes me to fall asleep.
But yeah, I think I'll be honest. I think I picked apart everything that I wanted to talk about with Sucker Punch. I
Are
would
you
say
going to go back and get the watch the extended cut now that you're the number one fan?
Yeah, I think I will. I think I appreciate. I don't hate Zack Snyder. I think he's got it in him to come up with some really unique visuals, and I think he's got some unique ideas. I just think he needs someone to rein in those ideas or give them structure.
Yes. It's a George Lucas prequel situation.
Yeah. He is like, you know what he is? Because we talked about Ghostbusters. He is Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd has got a bunch of ideas, but he's fucking nuts. You need a Harold Ramis and an Ivan Reitman to kind of water it down, dial it back, get some structure in there, make those ideas work in a story. Because there's something here. There's some, and here's the other thing we can say about Sucker Punch. Not a pre-existing idea.
That's true.
It's not based on a book, a comic, anything. This is, I've got an idea for a movie. It's not, my take on a Star Wars like Rebel Moon. This is my idea. And you know what? I think, nerds everywhere play about there's no originality. There's no this. Everything's adaptations. There's a whole bunch we could go into, and there's a whole bunch of discourse that's being held on that about why original ideas aren't thriving as much as well as they should. So I think we need to appreciate something like a Sucker Punch is existing. And I did look it up. Like, it was made for $82 million back in 2011, which is about like $110 million in today's money. So compared to like a normal Marvel project, I mean, that would be like mid-Marvel, like mid-Marvel budget, but it's like still like not low, but it's like, it's also not like, a lot of these movies like $250 million spectacles of just like throw CGI at the wall. Here it's like, it's creative. That's all I can say. It's creative at the end of the day.
Yeah, and at the and that's all you can ask for, I guess. So I do appreciate how creative it was visually, feast for the eyes. Not much going in plot land. I will never be watching this movie again, or at least very unlikely. I saw on Amazon the Sucker Punch Blu-ray with the extended edition is only 11-12 bucks. So there you
Hot
go.
damn.
You're like ordering now, or you can wait a couple of weeks for. They're having another Prime Days. How many Prime Days do they have? But
Well, if Jeff Bezos gets his way, every day is Prime Day.
but yeah. So I think that's going to do it. I got nothing else to say about Sucker Punch. Nobody in this movie went on to anything. At least doesn't seem like anyone did. Like not counting like well, I guess let's see. John Hamm, of course, is John Hamm. He's been in consistent John Hamm state since then. Scott Glenn again is Scott Glenn. Oscar Isaac, he's gone up. He's become A-list. He was like,
yeah,
I think,
that's it.
yeah.
Carla Giardino. I mean, she's fucking great in everything she's in. I absolutely love. Like she's falling to that list of actresses that when they're in projects, I'm like, it's like, okay, I like that she's in this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, you know, they're busy. You know, they're not like nobody's going to starve. Let's just put it that way. Everybody's working, happy to be working. But you know, they got stuff going on. They're not all in Marvel, all right. Not all of them can be.
Maybe they should be. Yeah. Was John Hamm in any Marvel stuff? I don't think he has been yet.
Let's see. Let's see. What is the? Let's see. I'm looking really fast to see if he was in.
I know Scott Glenn was in Marvel. He was in Daredevil.
He was Stick.
Yeah. I thought that. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I thought he died.
Scott Glenn.
Yeah, I thought he died, but no, Scott Glenn still kicking. We say this now, and then we're gonna get an announcement. But no, hopefully not. Love you, Scott Glenn.
Yeah.
As far as I can. Oh wait. He is actually. I don't know if this is going to count as like a Marvel thing, but it's a big franchise. He is going to be in the movie. He is in the movie Transformers 1 as Sentinel Prime.
Okay.
Was
that Leonard Nimoy in the live action movies?
That was Leonard Nimoy in the live action. Yeah, he was the bad guy in Dark of the Moon.
I don't know nothing about Transformers. Is Sentinel Prime usually a bad guy?
Nick, you're a kid from the 80s. You should know this.
I never got into Transformers.
Really?
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm looking at your background. I'm looking at your background right now. I see a shelf for Ghostbusters. I see He-Man.
He-Man was my jam. I don't know. Like, that and G.I. Joe just kind of passed me by. I do own one Transformers toy that I got as a kid that I still have, and so it's now my kid's toy. But yeah, I don't know. Just never got into that. I was just talking with Gorhan about that. Yeah, but when I was a kid, like my first like thing that I got into was He-Man. I was all about it. I regret getting rid of those figures when I did. And then I was also into Mask a little bit, but no one remembers Mask. And then I was then I got into Ghostbusters, and then after Ghostbusters, there's some overlap, but with Ninja Turtles. And there's, everyone loved Ninja Turtles. The only person that didn't like Ninja Turtles were liars. And,
yeah, it's kind of hard to hate on the Ninja Turtles.
And then after that, I moved on to Star Trek, and that's kind of like where my toy buying experience, my main things sort of drifted away at that point. But although I did, with the prequels came out, I did buy way too many Star Wars figures of that time, like particularly with Episode 1 and Episode 2. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Yeah. Anywho, let's wrap this one up.
Let's sucker punch this conversation.
We've been going almost as long as the original cut of the movie. So
we should start selling these as just commentary tracks.
We could. I mean, shit. Why
Shit.
not? All right,
Come on,
cuz.
Zach.
All right, cuz. Well, thanks for being on for this sucker punch.
Hey.
And I guess when we originally talked about doing Summer of Snyder, should be just the year of Snyder.
Season of Snyder.
Season of Snyder. That's good. What season is it? You be the judge. We will. I think we're going to wrap this up eventually with the Justice League.
Do you want the 4-hour cut of Justice League?
4-hour cut of Justice League.
We'll see you in 6 months, folks.
Yeah, I know, right? I haven't watched it yet, but I will do it. I've been told that there's like segments that you could watch it in chunks. So maybe I'll do that.
Because they have title cards, so you could. There are points where you could stop it. But I don't know why you would want to. It's a masterpiece. It's complete.
It is cinema.
I was hoping we'd watch what is it?
Movie?
Yeah, let's watch the Owl movie.
Sure, why not? We'll conclude with the Snyder cut, but we could build up to it. We could add another one. We should just do his entire filmography. But
let's see. I'm pulling up right now. Listen up. Okay, so let's see. So, I mean, we got his decent. He hasn't done much. I want him to do more original stuff. Because I guess we got most of it's tied to the DCU. You know, his Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which that's a Man of Steel. Then I guess there's Army of the Dead. Was his last sort of original between because he went from Sucker Punch to the DC movies and hasn't looked back for the most part.
Why would you?
I guess so. But yeah, the Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, just rolls off the tongue. You know what the original book is called? And I don't know why they just didn't use it. It is based on a book.
Oh, okay.
It's just called Guardians of Ga'Hoole. Why didn't you call it just Guardians of Ga'Hoole? Why is it Legend of the Guardians? Why does that add to it? Just call it Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
Let's see. Is that streaming anywhere? Fuck, it's not.
Oh, no.
I'm sure the library has it.
I'm sure they do. Birds.
Let's see. Is this like technically a family film? Animated. Oh, 97 minutes? Okay, I can get behind that. Get behind that. All right. Then wow, it looks like it was one of his last successful box office films. But
so the man that they based the entire, in a way, you can argue still they're still basing the DC stuff because like everything I've seen from like James Gunn's side, it's not fully broken off from Zack. And I only say that because it's like it's still continuing the shit from the Suicide Squad with like Creature Commandos.
Mm-hmm.
And with Viola Davis, so it's like there's a loose thread still tying it to everything that came before. So it's like it's almost severed. You know what I mean? You know what, Zachariah, baby Sucker Punch 2. Just big Sucker Punch 2, where Baby Doll's now the mental figure and she's guiding some other troubled teens.
There you go. That's how you do it.
She's the Scott Glenn figure in this fantasy world. And it turns out you just go fully nuts. It's actually an alternate universe when you dream.
I'm surprised they haven't made a Sucker Punch 2 in this form of a direct-to-DVD cheap-ass cash-in.
You know what? We're giving them ideas. We're full of them. There's an audience that's hungry for more Sucker Punch.
Or maybe this movie should just exist in its own little time.
A little time capsule of what was and what we could have had as a society.
So, all right, cuz that's all I got.
We've officially gone longer than the movie itself.
Not the extended cut. There'll be an extended cut of this podcast coming in a few weeks. We'll have all the stuff that we talked about before we actually started. We'll just add that to it.
Yeah.
20 minutes or whatever.
The 20 minutes of the derogatory and sexist remarks removed.
Well, yours I'm keeping in. We gotta get that R rating. We gotta get the street cred. Get it trending on the Twitters.
There we go. Me and my boy Andrew Tate. We're going to take this to the top of the charts, baby.
I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah.
All right, cuz. Well, it was good talking to you. Thanks for everyone who's listening. This has been the All New Culture Cast, and we'll check you out next week when it's not going to be a Zack Snyder film, I don't think, but check out next time when we talk about Twilight. Yeah, that's our next one.
Good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the All New Culture Cast. Follow us on X. Drop us a line at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We can't promise we'll read it. Theme music by Dana Vodovaz. Check out their work on YouTube at Vodovaz Music Productions. This has been a Saltwater production. Thanks for listening.
Good times, good times, good times.
Good times.